the woman slapped the bruised girl hard across the face. She threatened that she could have her thrown out of the Shen family's house with just a snap of her fingers. This was the fake heiress who took the real sister's place for 18 years, and now she was trying to kick out the real heir. But just a second later, a hard slap sent the fake sister stumbling back. The family's real heir, Shen Qingnuan, had shown up. She fiercely told the imposter she had no right to threaten her real sister. When the family tried to drag the real sister away, Qingyue stopped them. She carried her sister to safety. At their birthday party, they praised the manipulative adopted daughter. They called Qingyue a cold-hearted disappointment for forgetting about it. Her mother called her an ungrateful brat. She said Qingyue wasn't worth even a tiny piece of the adopted daughter. In response, Qingyue calmly listed off the adopted sister's past crimes. She mentioned everything from framing others for cheating to a hit-and-run accident she covered up. While the fake sister cried, the mother furiously demanded that Qingyue apologize or she'd be disowned. Just as she turned to leave, a maid ran in screaming that something awful had happened to the adopted sister. While she was in a meeting, Qingyue got a frantic call from her father. He told her a DNA test had just proven the adopted daughter was not their biological child. It turned out she was switched at birth, but Qingyue was immediately suspicious. She knew an accidental switch was impossible. Her mother had given birth in the family's own private hospital, in a top-floor VIP suite that didn't have any other patients at the time. Only then did she realize this had to be a setup. She immediately ordered her assistant to get all the security camera footage from the hospital from 18 years ago. They found the footage within an hour. It showed her father celebrating the birth of his daughter, but then you could see a nurse entering the nursery alone. Later, the same nurse walked into her mother's room with a baby. Her assistant told her the final shocking truth. After checking hospital records, he confirmed the woman in the video was a fake, who had pretended to be the head nurse. Someone had purposely snuck into the secure hospital to switch the babies. Realizing this was a planned-out scheme against her family, Qingyue ordered her car. It was time to go back to the Shen home and uncover the whole conspiracy. Qingyuan's cold words shattered the family's fantasy. She accused them of raising a thief who stole their real daughter's life. She had come back to find the fake heiress hugging her mother. Her mother was still defending the girl who had stolen her real daughter's identity for 18 years. When Qingyue demanded to know where her real sister was, Qingyue rushed over there and found a bruised, scared girl huddled on the floor. The moment she saw her face, she knew it was her sister. She looked exactly like their mother when she was young. The girl, Wang Zadi, admitted the bruises were from her abusive foster father. In that moment, Qingyue's heart filled with a protective rage. Just as her parents and the fake sister arrived, Qingyue found her real purpose. She brought her sister home and immediately gave her a new name, Shen Qingnuan. She took her to a gorgeous room filled with designer clothes, priceless jewelry, and everything a young woman could ever want. But Qingyue was terrified. She felt completely unworthy of a life like this, and was afraid she'd be thrown out again. Qingyue held her tight, telling her this was her home now and no one could ever make her leave again. She promised her that as a daughter of the Shen family, she deserved the best things in life. Qingyue then confronted her family in the main living room. She ordered the butler to move the imposter to a guest room and make sure Qingyue's every need was the top priority. Her mother exploded, calling her a cold-blooded monster. Qingyue shot back, accusing her mother of enjoying 18 years of happiness with a fake while her real daughter was getting beaten and starved. She screamed that her mother's happiness was built on her own child's stolen life. Her mother collapsed, sobbing that she wished Qingyue had never been born. As the fake sister put on a fake show of tears, claiming it was all her fault, Qingyue told her father she would stop at nothing to uncover this whole conspiracy. He could only agree. The fake sister sneered, saying that a country bumpkin in a silk dress was still just a bumpkin. She demanded the terrified girl call her sister. But Qingyue refused, saying her only sister was Shen Qingnuan. Furious, the imposter grabbed her by the chin and shoved her to the floor. A servant held her down while the fake sister poured his scalding hot drink all over her, making fun of her alcoholic foster father. Just as she picked up a pair of golden scissors and threatened to gouge out her pretty eyes, Qingyue's furious voice yelled for her to stop. But the moment Qingyue walked in, the fake sister immediately changed her story. She pretended to be innocent and claimed Qingyue had tried to hurt herself. The maid, who was in on it, backed up her story. Seeing right through the obvious lie, Qingyue calmly asked her assistant to take the scissors to be checked for fingerprints. The imposter's face fell, and Qingyue turned her cold stare on the servant. She fired her on the spot. She also declared that she was blacklisted from every company the Shen family owned. Then, she turned back to the imposter. The girl screamed that she couldn't believe she'd been hit, but Qingyue slapped her again. She reminded her that an imposter who stole someone's life has no right to bully the real heir. On the spot, she ordered the imposter to be moved to the servants' rooms in the back of the house. She was forbidden from ever setting foot in the main house again without permission. The fake sister ran off in a rage, swearing their parents would make her pay. After taking care of the trash, Qingyue went to her real sister. Her sister was trembling with fear and begging not to be thrown out again. Qingyue hugged her, noticed the whip marks and scars on her back, and told her that in this house no one could ever hurt her again. From now on, Qingyue would be the one with the power to punish people. She promised her the best teachers for culture, art, and self-defense. She swore she'd make her shine 1,000 times brighter than the fake sister. Qingyuan's voice was filled with deadly determination, as she said that as for the people who owed Qingyue, she would make them pay it all back, one by one. After being viciously accused of hitting her sister, the woman calmly sipped her juice while her family yelled at her. Her younger sister Mingzhu played the victim. But what their parents didn't know was that the woman, Shen Qingnuan, had already figured out the truth. It turned out Mingzhu had tried to harm another girl. Qingyue showed them a forensic report proving that only Mingzhu's fingerprints were on the weapon. When her mother still defended Mingzhu, Qingyue declared that according to family rules, the person who does something wrong must be punished. She sentenced Mingzhu to 10 days of being locked in her room. This was a decision, not a discussion. But this was only the beginning of her plan. Qingyue handed her an acceptance letter to Shengying Academy, the most elite school in the city. Qingyue was terrified, convinced she would be looked down on. But Qingyue told her she wasn't going there just to study. She was going to take back the identity, status, and respect that was stolen from her. She then revealed an intense week-long training schedule, packed with lessons on etiquette, culture, and school subjects. All the teachers would come to the house for private lessons. It was going to be tough, but Qingyue, seeing a chance to change her life, promised she could do it. On the first day of school, Qingyue showed Qingyue a collection of luxury bags, but Qingyue worried any of them would make her a target. Qingyue then picked up a simple, unbranded leather bag. She explained that the best way to show off is to not have to show off at all. This one bag, she said, was worth more than all the limited edition bags in Mingzhu's closet. And only the truly rich kids at that school would recognize it. She then drove Qingyue to the academy herself. As they pulled up in a Maybach, all the other students stared in shock. Qingyue got out, held an umbrella for her sister, and told her to hold her head high. Taking her sister's hand, she walked her past the stunned crowd and into the school, ready to face their new rivals. Screaming that she'd rather die, the woman held a knife to her own throat. She threatened to kill herself if her favorite daughter was forced to live in the servants' quarters. This was the scene that Qingyue and her real sister, Qingyue, walked into when they got home from her first day at the elite academy. But just that morning, Qingyue had prepared her for this fight. She told her that if anyone made her uncomfortable, she should make them even more uncomfortable. When Qingyue was introduced to the class, she was met with a wall of silent judgment. But remembering her sister's words, she introduced herself with a confidence that surprised everyone. As expected, no one spoke to her. The other students who were friends of her imposter sister Mingzhu just watched her from a distance. After school, Qingyue picked her up in a bright yellow Lamborghini, which was a clear message to everyone watching. In the car, she explained that the popular kids were just testing her. Since Qingyue, the family heir, had personally brought her own attitude was now the signal for everyone else's social status. Soon, she said, they would all know who the most important person to get close to was. When they got home, the butler told their mother that Mingzhu had to move into the annex. That's when all the chaos started. Her mother cried that Mingzhu had never been treated so unfairly. Qingyue coldly asked, if living in the servants' quarters was unfair, then what was the hell Qingyue had lived through for 18 years? Then came the shocking reveal. She grabbed Mingzhu's arm, showing a unique bracelet. Qingyue declared that Mingzhu was an imposter who had stolen Qingyue's life, enjoying the luxury and love that was never hers. Wasn't that unfair? That's when their mother pulled a knife, threatening to kill herself. But Qingyue didn't even flinch. She told her mother to go ahead, coldly promising to send her to the hospital in a respectable way. The knife clattered to the floor. As her mother collapsed into a weeping mess on the ground, Qingyue ignored her, took her true sister's hand, and led her upstairs, away from the woman who had betrayed them both. On the phone with the family butler, Qingyue learned their grandfather had been staring at old photos of their late grandmother. Lost in thought, she knew what she had to do. She told the butler to tell their grandfather that his real granddaughter was coming home. At the mansion, Qingyue stood nervously in a beautiful traditional dress. When the butler saw her, his eyes widened in shock. She looked exactly like their grandmother when she was young. He quickly led them to the grandfather, a serious-looking man who everyone respected. He motioned for Qingyue to come closer. As she walked toward him, he gently touched her head, and then looked at an old framed photo. The resemblance was crazy. Just then, Qingyue presented her grandfather with the shocking truth. She gave him a DNA report proving Qingyue was his true granddaughter. She also had evidence that someone had planned to swap the children at birth 18 years ago. The grandfather exploded with rage, furious that someone dared to scheme against his family. He declared that at his upcoming 80th birthday party, he would officially introduce Qingyue to everyone as the true heiress of the Shen family. As for the imposter, Mingzhu, he wanted her sent far away.